Hi there, welcome to Kneppy Invest and welcome to January 6, 2025. New Year's is over and today feels like almost a normal day of trading. We have seen a pretty good group of announcements being released today. In fact, my selection was quite large in terms of the top 5 stocks of the day. I did leave out a few that I was pretty disappointed to leave out. And we have seen the very first Appendix 5B being released today, a company called Polymetals or something like that. And because they were the first company to release their Appendix 5B for the quarter, I thought I'd put that into the top 5 stocks of the day. And the company does sound a little bit interesting. Overall, today has been a little bit more negative than I thought it was going to be. I thought it would have a pretty good day on the market. It started off pretty good. Now, sometimes what I do is market opens 9 a.m. local time, 10 a.m. In Sydney and Melbourne, other times for other places. And a lot of times what I do is I'll just have a look to see how companies did perform who did release some pretty good announcements. And then when I start, or just before I start recording this video, I'll have a look at how the share prices of these companies have performed today. And I was shocked to see a few company share price drop significantly during the day, including one company that is in my top 5 stocks of the day. So I'll get to that company during this video. Okay, so the agenda for today's video, I'll go through the ASX Today, looking at the best and worst performing sectors, indices, and also companies. Then we'll go through the top 5 stocks of the day. I have recorded a standalone video on the stock of the day. It is a gold producer. In fact, we saw 3 gold companies release their quarterly update. The company that is in the top 5, in fact, the top stock of the day, did not necessarily release a quarterly report. They actually released an update, a guidance. I think it was called Production and Guidance Update. And I have recorded that video, so look out for that sometime this evening, unless you're watching this over the next few days, and then all bets are off. And then I suppose we could have a look at some of your comments if I have time. I am doing an emergency shift tonight. I think it's called emergency duty shift. Someone called in sick. They're trying to find someone. I usually say, because I am part-time and I don't want to take emergency shifts from anyone else, I usually do say, if you can't find anyone else, I can do it. And they couldn't find anyone else. So I am working at tonight. So from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. But that does not preclude me from doing any videos because here we are. I'm recording a video and I'll be recording videos tomorrow. I might be tired tomorrow and that can affect the quality, but I'll still be recording videos. Okay, so let's get into the ASX Today. Nothing else really to talk about right now. And the market is down. It's been dropping through the day. I'm pretty sure it opened up about 0.3 to 0.4%. Tech's had a pretty good day. Resources a pretty negative day. I'm trying to think. It could be iron ore, maybe gold. No, gold's had a pretty good day. Pretty sure oil's had an okay day today. Well, I could be wrong. Anyway, so here is the market overview. And yeah, we have seen all the indices drift lower during the day. Is that because lower American futures? I don't know. Maybe a little bit of negative sentiment in the market. I don't know. Maybe a little bit of profit taking because the end of last week was pretty good for the ASX. I don't know. But disappointing start to the week because I honestly thought because of the lead-in from Wall Street on Friday or Friday night our time that it would be Saturday morning our time. I'm pretty sure they opened about 12:30, like just after midnight our time. So technically it is Saturday morning our time. I just thought because of their lead-in, we'd have a pretty good day. Obviously, I am wrong. And again, the future is hard to forecast or predict. Sector-wise, a good day for IT. NASDAQ was up about 1.8%, so that probably can explain some of that movement. Real estate, pretty good day. And materials or mining, a pretty bad day. Discretionary, staples, and telecommunications all down as well. And yeah, gold's negative. Gold's in the red. What's in the green today? We have all technology index and banks. Maybe the banks have had a good day. And ASX 20 down 0.12%. Let's have a look at the ASX 20 just to see if there's any surprises, just to see which sort of areas in mining might have moved. So let's have a look at this. 7 down, 13 up. So when you see that so we saw that the ASX 20 is down, but 13 companies are up. So what that means is either a lot of the biggest companies are down and most of the companies that are up are at the lower end of the ASX 20. Or the companies that have dropped today have dropped by a more significant amount than the companies that have risen. Let's see which one is true. In fact, the first way to do this is have a look at by market cap. And in fact, we can see that, in fact, most of the biggest companies are up today, which probably means the companies that have dropped today have dropped by a significant amount, or more than a significant amount than those companies that have risen. And let's have a look. And there we go. Iron ore's had a negative day. And that's probably has led to our market being a little bit disappointing. So BHP down 1.9%, Rio Tinto down 1.7%, and Fortescue down 1.25%. And to be honest with you, everything else has done okay today. Even Telstra down 0.25%. I'm not going to complain about that. And if we have a look at the best performing companies, they're probably a little bit smaller companies than like BHP, Rio Tinto, and that can explain why 13 up, 7 down, yet the index is actually down today. Okay, let's have a look. Let's have a look at the top gainers today. Let's see if there's any surprises in the top gainers and the top losers. Summit Metal or Minerals up 36.67%. Not a big surprise. There's two companies that have made an acquisition. Two mining companies that made an acquisition today, and one of them was Summit Metals or Minerals. Here it is, up 33%. They have acquired something. Summit to acquire Advanced High Grade IAC NB project. So this is not in my top 5 stocks, by the way. And the other one was AVM, Advanced Metals. They have acquired some gold and silver projects in Victoria and in Mexico. 162 pages long, that announcement. So let's have a look at the chart for both of these companies. Why not? AVM, is it any reason to get excited? Possibly. Now, acquisitions or mining or project acquisitions can be company changing. We have seen this a lot. In fact, Northern Star, the whole reason they're a massive gold producing company is because they acquired some assets, I would say back in 2011, 2012, sometime back then. I wonder if we can go back. Yeah, let's go back all that way. I'm interested now. Let's go all the way back. So I'm assuming this little spike in the share price in Northern Star. So 2010, share price did rally 29% on that day. Share price was like 5 cents. And I'm pretty sure that would have been that acquisition. I forget what it was, but it was company changing acquisition. And you can see the share price went on a massive run since then. If you bought on that day and have not since sold your shares in Northern Star, you're probably quite rich right now. Anyway, I'm getting going off topic just a touch here. So let's go back to AVM. Totally forgot what this company's called again. Advanced Metals, that's right. And let's go to the chart right now. Share price has been a downtrend. Some really big volume coming in not that long ago. So this would have been pre-acquisition, and now the share price is up, but pretty negative. No, I wouldn't say pretty. It is a slightly negative one-day candlestick. We have been seeing a little bit of selling today. Share price has been as high as 4.3 cents. Now it's 3.7 cents. So it has been a bit of selling, and I wonder the reason there might be a bit of selling is because there would have been some shareholders who bought on this rise back in October, and they've seen the opportunity to sell out today. So what about Summit Metals? SUM, is this a chart to get excited about? I'm not even talking about the announcement or anything. I'm just looking at the chart. I don't mind this one. However, the share price had been in the downtrend. I'm just going to get rid of the 200-day moving average. So share price had been in downtrend. So I would say there's going to be a little bit of resistance at these levels and even higher. Share price of this company went on a massive run back in May and June. Not sure what caused that. And that run came to an end in June. And you can just see how the volume just dried off. So a lot of hype in this company, and that hype died away, and the share price died away with it, with the volume as well. So good volume coming in for Summit Minerals. Okay, let's go back to top gainers. Finer Energy, Cyclopharm. So I did mention Cyclopharm in my, I think it was a technical update video, or maybe something else. And I did mention the chart looked interesting. I thought maybe the share price would move up. I did not expect 25% in one day. I don't believe the company released anything today. I would have seen it if they did. Let's just confirm that. Response. Oh, they did receive a response to ASX price query today. So they did not recently release anything today. But I am interested in this, and this actually was released 8 minutes ago. There you go. Good timing there. And the ASX have changed the questions around. So it used to be, if you answer question 1, no, which is, do you have any information that they have not released in the market that can explain the movement? And then question 2 is in relation to question 1. If you answered yes, most companies say no, and then question 2 is not applicable. They've just changed it. So now it's question 1 is the original question, but question 2 used to be question 3. And question 3 is there any other explanation? In fact, if we have a look, here he is. Yeah, question 1 is Cyclopharm aware of any information concerning it that has not been announced in the market, which, if known by some in the market, could explain the recent trading in its securities, hence insider trading. And then question 2 is, if the answer to question 1 is yes, oh no, this is the same as, yeah. The reason I thought that they changed it is because another company received a price query and they changed it. So this is the original one. So I'm not sure what's happening there. Anyway, so let's go back to see their answer. And they said no to question 1, which means question 2 is not applicable. And then question 3 is when they get a bit of leeway. They can use some of their creative juices to try to figure out why the share price has increased. And they've just said no. So this is a boring answer from Cyclopharm. No reason why the share price has increased, except if someone got excited when I mentioned Cyclopharm the other day. But just mentioning the chart was looking interesting. And this can happen when the chart looks interesting. Now, the share price did get as high as 225 today. I'm not sure why, but yeah. The other thing is the volume hasn't been massive today, but it's been strong enough. And there you go. So this is when a chart starts looking interesting, you get a day like this. Now, there was a crossover, moving average crossover, not that long ago. So there were signs that this could happen. Maybe not like this. I didn't expect this. But there were signs the share price might start moving upwards. Okay, so that's interesting. Cyclopharm. Anything else here? I'm going through this fairly quickly, so I might miss something. Insignia Financial, there is a takeover bid for that company. What's that show called? Ausbiz The Core have gone back to regular program, it seems, and Insignia Financial was their stock of the day. I really hate that. Really hate when there is a takeover bid for a company and they automatically put that stock of the day. Why? And there's Dubber. So someone did give me a question about Dubber, and the Dubber chart does look interesting. I will give them that. Dubber chart. I'm not sure if I'm brave enough to take a trading position in Dubber, but definitely the share price has just taken off. I don't like how it's taken off so quickly, and it has gone up a fair bit. I would not be surprised if the share price starts to fall back a bit after this. A bit of profit taking with Dubber, because they haven't released anything significant, anything financially significant that could explain why the share price is taken off. Maybe they will release that when they release their pennies 4C within the next 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks. What else do we have here? Nothing. So let's have a look at top gainers by markup. See if there's anything interesting in this. We have Block, Insignia, some uranium companies, Deep Yellow and Boss Energy, not Peninsula. Peninsula. No, I won't talk about Peninsula right now. I might talk about that later if we don't see it in the worst performing companies. A lot of companies, just moving. AML3D, did they release something today? I have a feeling they might have. AML3D, yes, AML3D supports AUKUS supply chain. I remember reading this now, and I was really interested in one little part of this. And that part was the third paragraph in the highlight section. AML3D delivered the submarine components in less than 5 weeks, as compared to 17 months for traditional manufacturing. There you have the benefits of 3D printing. 5 weeks compared to 17 months. There you go. Now, maybe there's a bit of a spin in that. The Virginia-class submarine prototype tailpiece components were 3D metal printed in less than 5 weeks compared to an average 17-month lead time via traditional manufacturing, blah, blah, blah. Maybe there's some other, something else around that. Maybe they are being a little bit too optimistic, or maybe they're spinning it in a really positive way, but that can be the benefits of 3D printing. It's just much quicker. Anyway, let's have a quick look at AML3D. And share price is still an uptrend. Yeah, I wouldn't be nervous if I was a long-term, if I was very confident about the future of this company, maybe not very. If I had some pretty good conviction about this company longer term, and I also was a technical analysis or chartist, I wouldn't be that nervous about this chart at this point in time. Okay, let's have a look at the top losers today. And fairly low turnover. There's Bellevue Gold, the fifth worst performing company on the ASX today, down 12.23%. Share price is hovering around $1. I'll talk briefly about Bellevue Gold later in this video, but I also have released a selling video. All the sell down 11.41%. I'd say that's just a bit of profit taking. Share price of the sell has gone up a fair bit. I've been trading it. I always get nervous when I see the share price go up so vertically, almost exponentially, because eventually you're going to see some profit taking. And we have seen that tonight, and the volume has been quite large as well. I'm just going to have a look at the 1 minute data because it looks like the share price opened up. Is that true? Yeah, it started to go on a rally fairly early. We're at to a high at about 1 hour and 15 minutes after trading began and just filled. Not big volume. Some pretty good volume coming in at $1.25. That's a sign that the bottom is being reached. That's a pretty good sign the bottom is being reached when you see some really big volume. And then we saw a bounce. So I would say $1.25 might be the bottom for now, but we need to see the share price starting to go up again. But the 1 day candlestick is a little bit negative apart from that slight bounce during the day. All right, so what else do we have here? Nothing. A brain chip down 10.8. Let's have a look at brain chip. This is another one of those companies that share price has taken off a little bit too quick for my liking, and maybe this is the end of the fun times for this company. We're just going to have to wait and see. It does remind me of what happened back in February. The only difference is I do actually prefer the chart right now compared to then. And I also do prefer some announcements this company is releasing, but I need to see more substantial announcements. Announcements that have something to do with financials, like, our cash receipts have increased 600% in the past year or something like that. Something really good that comes to financials. What else do we have here? Nothing else. Titomic. Let's have a look at the top losers by market cap. Bellevue Gold, Clarity, Satire, Imricor. Some of these companies, not Clarity, but Brainchip. Satire, even Satire has been on a bit of a run recently. I did have a look at Satire's chart, I think it was last night. And yeah, the share price had bounced from about $1.12 up to $1.60 in a fairly short period of time. So this is not surprising, this sort of action, share price action. And there's Peninsula, down 6%. Peninsula has a new CEO. So remember, uranium companies were in the top performers, and Peninsula has continued to disappoint the market. They've gone in a different direction than all the other uranium companies. So Peninsula Energy appoints George Falk as MD and CEO. I just wanted to see how the market did react, and it's probably not as positive as what you want to see if you are a shareholder. So obviously the market is thinking, we're not sure about this higher, and the chart still looks, there's no reason to be in this at this point in time. And as I mentioned, I think Boss Energy, probably Paladin, Bannerman, they've all gone up today. DPL have all gone up today, and Peninsula have gone down. Not a good look. And Findy, good old Findy. Good old Findy. In fact, there's quite a few, I wouldn't say market darlings, but quite a few companies that have looked really good. Charts look really good the past few months, have gone down today. I'm not sure why. So AI Media, maybe not Intelligent Monitoring Group, but Money Me, yeah, Andy and Silver down. Findy, this is interesting because I did completely sell Findy the other day. Then the share price went up after I sold it. I went, damn it, maybe I should have just waited. The reason I sold out of Findy is we had that 2 really big down days, and I didn't see a bounce. I was hoping there was going to be a bounce. We didn't see it. And in fact, today we have seen a crossover in the moving averages. I was expecting that to happen, and that's why I decided to sell, completely sell out. And yeah, I'm no longer holding Findy. It's taken a long time for me to sell my Findy holdings, And today I've sold, not today, but I've sold out recently, about 3 or 4 trading days ago. I'm not sure why the share price is down 9% or so today. It could be just, look at the chart. It's starting to look negative and sentiment is shifting for Findy and SPC Global. This is a bit of surprise. This is another company that had a shot to get into my top 5 stocks of the day, down 7%, but the share price is going up and down like a yo-yo. So SPC Global secures major new deal in Asia. Fair bit of revenue in this deal, 250 million if I remember correctly. I could be mistaken. Yep. 10-year exclusivity with leading Asian retailer worth $250 million. Now, maybe the margins are quite low, so that $250 million in revenue might be worth $5. Being a little bit stupid in saying that. Dramatic, not stupid, dramatic, overly dramatic saying that, because a lot of these type of companies have really low margins. So even though it's $250 million, I wouldn't expect much profit from that. I did expect, however, the share price to have a good day, but as I mentioned, share price has been all over the place for SPC Global. Has been a recent merger with Orange Juice Factory, and if you look at the trade history, yeah, since they merged, some big down days, some big up days. At this point in time, I'd say the down days have been a little bit more than the up days. Maybe, yeah, maybe. And there's no point looking at the chart because they haven't been listed all that long. And what else? A lot of companies on this list that I am surprised are down. And I suppose that's it. Okay, let's have a look at the top 5. Actually, no, before I have a look at the top 5 stocks, is there any other company that would have made it into my top 5 but did not? First one was Vection Technologies. Now, I actually expect the share price to be up. They did release a new contract, a $1.8 million defense contract award, and I was thinking the share price would increase today because it seems like sentiment in this company has shifted from negative to positive. And I was thinking, when a company releases this sort of announcement, when this negative, when the sentiment is negative, more than likely, I think the share price will be sold, the stock will be sold into. And on a day like this, I thought maybe there would be more enthusiastic buying, but share price is down. So that was my thoughts. I thought the share price would be up because they released a good announcement where the sentiment is now positive. And I'm pretty sure as the share price was dropping and dropping and dropping, they did release these sort of announcements and the share price dropped. Anyway, so definitely an interesting chart for Vection Technologies. Another company that almost made it into my top 5 was Biome. One of the things I like about this company is they always release these little updates. So Biome reports record quarterly sales revenue for second quarter financial year 25. The only problem is they always release these. So let's go back a year. So there it is, quarter 2 revenue guidance, 27th of November. So we are talking about every month and a bit. And business and international market update, 13th of November. Quarterly cash flow report, 24th of October. 1st of October, record quarterly sales revenue for first quarter. So revenues and receipts are increasing, but interesting enough, the share price is down. And the share price did opened up, and the share price has dropped through the day. So even though it sounds good, this has been sold into. This announcement has been sold into. Let's have a look at the chart for Biome. It's more negative than it has been for a while. Now, the breakout for this company, in my opinion, was way back, just after I did a video on this company. I'm pretty sure I did a video in June 2023 when the share price was really struggling, not really doing anything. Share price was maybe 7 cents, 7.5 cents. Share price broke out like a month after I did the video. We had a moving average crossover. Share price went above 10 cents back in, let's say, the 4th of August. It took a little bit of time to get above 10 cents and then went on a massive tear. And then we had the moving average crossover back in early December, and definitely the chart looks a little bit weaker. And then you get it today, like today, where we have seen the announcement sold into. If the share price falls below, say, 50 cents, that would be a negative sign. And then the next negative, or the support level, would be about 44 cents. So that's Biome. So I'm a little bit surprised share price is down. I thought maybe the share price would rally. What else we have? Already talked about Peninsula. What about Metro Mining? Another company that had close to getting the top 5 stocks of the day. Share price flat. Operational update. One of my favorite types of announcements. It sounds pretty good. nice update from the company. No complaints from me, although I'm not a shareholder. If I was a shareholder, I'd probably have no complaints. In fact, they mentioned here demonstrated operational resiliency in second half of December during adverse weather conditions. Now, don't forget, this company has their operations or their project, whatever you want to call it, north of Weipa, which is in northern Queensland on the eastern side of the Gulf of Carpentaria. And because they do have a monsoon season, I'm pretty sure this project is closed for at least a month because of that season. They usually do mention it at some point. Now, there's a chance they don't need to do that anymore. I don't know. Yeah, anyway, so things are still moving in the right direction for Metro Mining. And finally, let's just have a look at the chart. It's actually a pretty good chart, this one. I don't mind this chart. I like this chart. It's been a pretty good chart since probably, well, I'd say it's been pretty good since about this time last year. There was a little bit of a dip in August, September, but a pretty nice looking chart for Metro Mining. Okay, now we can get to the top 5 stocks of the day. We'll start off with Polymetals Resources. The first company to release their Appendix 5A, or even the first company to release the Appendix 5A or 4C. I was a little bit surprised to see this on my announcement page, which was ComSec page, because we're not getting any more of those stupid ETF announcements, distribution crappy ones that just fill the ComSec announcement page completely. Anyway, so let's open this. This is not a producing company, by the way. So typically, if a non-producing mining company releases an Appendix 5A, I ignore it. This is probably one of the only times I've opened up an Appendix 5A for an exploring company, and I actually read a little bit of it. And one of the other reasons I read it is because I just mentioned here, Australia's next silver and zinc producer, and that grabbed my attention. It did. I'm interested in that sort of thing. And then they just below that, they said, the company is progressing the restart of the high-grade underground Endeavour silver zinc mine and is on track to commence production in the first half of 2025. We're in the first half of 2025 right now. So this is a company I'm going to be following a little bit more closely because eventually you're going to have cash receipts in their Appendix 5B. Yes, so that's all I care about right now. I just want to see how much this particular mine is producing when it comes to cash. Maybe they've hinted at that, but I don't know. And then if you just have a quick look at their Appendix 5A, there's nothing here. No receipts. You could have a look if you're interested in this company, how much cash they have on hand. So, instance, they have 5.5 million cash on hand. Cash on hand actually increased, but they did increase their borrowings, which could be a little bit of concern. Debt is one of the easiest ways to kill a company. So they do have $38.9 million in debt, looks like, and have a look at their debt details or their financing facilities details. For instance, underground mobile equipment lease facility, vehicle lease facility, and $20 million prepayment loan facility provided by Ocean Partners. $5 million drawn. Wait there, let's see how much have they drawn. According to this, they've drawn about 8.2 million. So they don't have anything drawn here, unused. This one confuses me a fair bit because they've done a little bit different. They should have how much is drawn in the second column here, and they don't have anything there. And then they said unused financing facilities at the end of the quarter, 25.5. So if you minus that from this, that would mean their drawn facilities are about 13.4 million. There you go, 13.4 million. Okay, so that's Polymetals. Oh, actually, let's have a look at the chart. First of all, last of all, the chart. Is the chart looking good? Wow, look at this chart. And I'm wondering why, and I'm wondering the reason why this chart looks pretty good is because although the market is aware, maybe this company is going to production soon, or maybe they made an acquisition of the mine or project back in late September, but definitely the chart looks pretty good. We had a spike in volume in October. Volume has pulled back a little bit. So maybe when they do release their first Appendix 5B with some cash flow, maybe that's when the share price will go up. So actually a pretty nice looking chart for Polymetals. Coming in number 4, we have a company I have heard, but I've never had a look at. That is Wellnex Life. They sell stuff, health stuff. And they released a trading update today. And whenever a company releases a trading update, I'm going to have a look at it. And you can see share price is up a little bit, so it must have been a little bit positive. I will have a look at a trading update. So Wellnex, by the way, this company does provide an about section. So they are a consumer healthcare business with a track record for developing, licensing, and marketing registered products and brands to customers in the growing healthcare market segment. Listed in 2021, Wellnex has successfully launched a host of brands and products now range in major retailers in the healthcare market space, pharmacies and supermarkets included. Its distribution arrangements have seen Wellnex Life secure significant licensing agreements with major pharmaceutical companies in Australia, etc., etc. Have more recently acquired leading Australian topical pain relief brand Pain Away. Okay, I need to do a little bit more on this company. I'm not going to try to pronounce the CEO or the CEO, George Karafotis. George Karafotis. Sounds Greek, maybe? Okay, so trading update. Total sales for the period July to December, financial year 25, increased to 11.94 million, up 112% compared to the previous corresponding period. That's a nice increase. Strong brand sales in the period increased 182%. Momentum increasing with 1,018% increase of sales recorded for December 2024 compared to December 2023. So sales have gone from 270,000 to 3.02 million. So this company is definitely moving in the right direction when it comes to revenue growth. Probably my big question would be, what are the margins? We'll have a look at the most recent Appendix 4C. So things are moving in the right direction. They do actually break down their revenue into 3 different divisions or sections: brands, IP licensing, and brokerage. It looks like they might have got rid of the brokerage because that's down to 0. There you go. So nice increase in revenue for brands and IP licensing, and that's about it. It should be releasing another Appendix 4C by the end of the month. So let's have a look at that most recent. They also apparently did a capital raising, completion of placement. Let's have a look at this completion of placement. Wow. Completed a placement to strategic investors at an 86% premium to the share price at $1.40. How did I not see this? I completely missed this one. That's pretty significant. 86% premium. I have to look at this a little bit closely, or more closely. Okay, let's have a look at the most recent. Apparently, there's an update on LSE dual listing. Anyway, let's have a look at the most recent Appendix 4C. You can actually get a fair bit of information from this. Now, the company is not operating cash flow positive. I'm pretty sure if it was, I would have taken way more notice of this company. But it says their customers 5.2 million, and they were operating cash flow negative in this quarter by 1 million. So they're still a little bit away from being operating cash flow and free cash flow positive. But maybe if they do see a little bit of leverage in their operations, maybe a bit of scale, maybe the company, as they increase their revenue, can reach that very important inflection point of being operating cash flow and free cash flow positive. Product manufacturing operating costs 3.2 million, so or 3.3 million. So a fair bit of their cost goes to that. The other thing I like to see in these sort of companies is how much cash. You can see why they did a placement. Only had $539,000 of cash at the end of the quarter. Looks like they might have a little bit of debt as well. Let's go to section 7. And total financing facilities is about 4.3 million. So they do have a little bit of debt, which is a little bit of a concern. Maybe just not a lot, but a little bit. Let's have a look at the chart. Finally, last of all. Chart, not there. I am definitely not there with Wellnex. I wonder if this big decrease in share price in 18th of December, share price dropped 54.7%. Should we have a look? Why the share price dropped 54.7% in or on the 18th of December 2023? Let's have a look. So we'll just go to 2 years. 18th of December 2023. Completion of Painaway acquisition and company update. So it looks like it was an acquisition, and maybe that company update was pretty negative. And that was not a good sign. Share price went sideways for a while and then moved back into a sort of a gradual downtrend since then. Share price at 68 cents. What's the market cap on this company, by the way? Let's have the market cap. $20 million. So this is another reason why I don't really know anything about this company. The chart looks horrendous. But I suppose a pretty good update from the company. Company number 2, we have, no, number 3, sorry, Droneshield. Droneshield. Share price down. Oh, actually, it wasn't down as much. So a lot of volatility in the share price of Droneshield today. It's been up and down. They released something I thought, yeah, would be received quite well from the market, and initially it was. So $9.7 million Latin American contract. So this is interesting just where it is. Latin America. So this company is becoming more global. And that's one of the reasons I thought maybe the market would receive this particular announcement quite well. However, saying that, the sentiment in this company was definitely negative. Share price has increased a little bit over the last few trading days, but I thought this would be quite positive. And yeah, in fact, they even mentioned that in their first paragraph here. Pleased to announce a significant customer order from Latin America, marking an exciting step forward in its global growth. And that probably excites me the most about this particular announcement is where it is. It's a different part of the world. So I thought the market would share price would rally today, but it's gone in the other way. So let's just have a look at the chart for Droneshield. This could explain it. So share price has been dropping. We know the share price has been dropping. It's in a downtrend. Share price had been rallying the last few days, and I thought today was probably another good day for Droneshield, but it's gone in the opposite direction. We have seen this happen twice in the past where the company has released something positive, but then the share price turned negative. If you have a look at the 1 minute chart, what you'll probably see is the share price open up. Yep, share price opened up, how much? 8%? 7.84% on open. And then the selling came in. And funny enough, I was talking about, what company was it? It was, Orthocell. Was it Orthocell? Yeah, so Orthocell share price was dropping today on the 1 minute chart, and then you saw some really big volume coming in, and that was signifying the bottom. Look where the bottom is for Droneshield. Look at that massive volume spike at 2:03 p.m. my time, and that was the bottom. There it is at 72 cents. So a big order came in at that point in time, and again, just like Orthocell, high bit of volume. Now this was just 1 minute, 1 minute volume, but there was big volume, signifying the bottom has been reached. So if you're like a day trader, you could have seen that and went, "Ooh, I'm going to take a position right now." So that's Droneshield. Interesting announcement and an interesting reaction from the market. By the way, if you go to Capital Brief, you'll probably see, yep, Droneshield shares jump on Latin American contract. That's aged pretty badly, hasn't it? It really is. Or Bellevue gold slumps after cutting financial year guidance. So that hasn't aged badly. Iron ore miners way on ASX as prices sink below $100. Well, there you go. Okay, let's move on to company coming in number 2. Okay, I'm a little bit biased here. I am a shareholder of this company. Swoop Holdings. Share price is up 8.82%, thankfully. It would have been bad if it wasn't up. They're in a bit of a sort of a bidding war for this other company called Wellnex. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure. Well, I sort of do understand. Wellnex is a profitable company. The share price has dropped a lot, so that's probably why there is a bidding war. And they're in a bidding war with another company. I forget what it's called, but a lot of announcements about this bidding war. But they did release today a new 30 million revenue customer agreement with something I've never heard of before. Flip TV or something like that. I have no idea who Flip TV is, but by the looks of this announcement, it's quite significant because they mentioned a 3-year agreement which will see the migration of Flip's broadband customers, currently 26,000, growing onto Swoop's network. The agreement is expected to add over $10 million of revenue annually from January 2025, with further upside based on Flip's growing customer base. So an interesting announcement from Swoop. However, the chart does not look that interesting. I just think this company is undervalued, and I would expect this is sort of like my Gentrack holding, which I held for 2 years before it broke out. We did see some good volume coming in November, but share price really not moving. More, if anything, it's going sideways, maybe just down slightly. But I do think there's some value in this company, and it's announcements like this that gives me hope that that this could be significantly higher in like 3 or 4 years' time. That's the only reason I hold Swoop, is just that potential. Okay, coming in number 1, we have Bellevue Gold. down. Oh, it's down below 1 cent. It looks like the indicated price will, because we're in the closing auction right now, share price will close below $1. That's not a good move for Bellevue Gold. Production guidance update. It was a downgrade. They've decreased their production guidance for financial year 25. They tried to put a positive spin on it, saying, hey, we expect significant increase in production in the second half of the year, and our eventual, what did they say? They said, if you annualize the second half production, that would be very close to their initial guidance. You can't do that. You can't analyze. Anyway, so they do expect a good end to the financial year, but I think the market is wary. They're a bit wary about this management right now. Share price down 13.4%. I have done a standalone video, so look out for that. Okay, so that's all I've got for the stocks of the day. Now let's have a look at some of your comments. What I've done is I've gone to the answer reply video on January 4 because if I have a look at all your comments, full with your choices, stock picks for 2025. Trader Hooper says, you did say it, but I'm not sure it had enough emphasis. Stock on the ASX and NASDAQ, this is in relation to Mesoblast, because there's Mesoblast on the ASX. There's also Mesoblast on the NASDAQ, which is, ticker there is MESO. Stock on the ASX and NASDAQ isn't always a 1-to-1 ratio. No, definitely not. Emphasizing that, not 1-to-1 ratio. I think 1 Meso equals 10 Mesoblast. And a good example of this might be, not Mesoblast, a good example of this could be, it could be a good example, I'm not sure, Square. No, it's Block now. So Block in the United States, do they have the amount of shares on issue? Shares float 547 million. And if you look at SQ2, shares float, well, they don't have it. But you can see the share price. Oh, maybe the share price isn't that different. Let's have a look again. Oh, the share price is a little bit different. So there is a bit of a difference between the shares on issue. We know that. We know there's a difference in shares on issue because the share price is different. The share prices, if the shares on issue were exactly the same, would be exactly the same. So with Mesoblast, Mesoblast on NASDAQ is at $20.12, but on the ASX is $3.07. There you go. So thank you for that, Trader Hooper. And we have to emphasize it's not a 1-on-1 ratio. 1-to-1 ratio. God 6815. How are you doing, God? Is that Morgan Freeman? Because, Morgan Freeman sometimes has a sort of the voice of God. Howdy, what broker do you use? Thank you for all your content. Well, for you, I'll just answer your question, but I've mentioned this quite a few times. Okay, so my super is through Net Wealth. So I do trade stocks in that. And I'm pretty sure Andrew Page and Scott Phillips, who do the Motley Fool podcast, I don't think they realize people can trade stocks in their super. I do it all the time. I've been doing it for 10 years because they answered a question the other day. And I'm pretty sure they just assumed the person wasn't trading stocks because I was talking about, I forget what I was talking about. Anyway, so I use Net Wealth to trade my stocks through my super. I start off with CommSec, but they didn't decrease their fees. They needed to decrease their fees. The fees were too high. So then I transitioned to Self Wealth, much lower fees there. And then now I'm at Superhero. So Self Wealth, a little bit, Superhero mostly. I do know some people don't like Superhero because, they don't have the HIN numbers. So technically, Superhero own the stock, but it's in it's in their name, but you own it. I forget how it goes, but I do know some people don't like that. I think it's no difference. So there it is: Self Wealth, Superhero, Net Wealth. But I do still look at CommSec. Also have a margin loan with CommSec. I shouldn't forget. But I don't use CommSec anymore unless the market drops a lot, and then I'll start using my margin loan. Winston Sale says, hi, Kneppy, between a return on equity and a return on invested capital, which one do you use in your fundamental analysis? I do prefer return on invested capital. Sometimes it's hard to calculate. Sometimes I can't really trust the investing platforms to give me a good number. Return equity is easy to calculate because we know the return and we know the equity. Both of those are fairly easy. But to be honest with you, either one is fair enough. Some people use return on capital employed. Maybe some people use return on assets. I think all those are really good. But return on equity, return on invested capital are both pretty good in my book. And I sort of do use both. I use both. I look at both. I'll be honest with you. I look at both when I'm actually researching a company, doing my fundamental analysis. I will have a look at both. In fact, if I had to choose one, now is this right? If I had to choose one metric, just one, I probably would look at one of these: return on equity, return on invested capital, return on capital employed, over anything else. Maybe it does give the best insight to how whether a company is high quality or not. Put it that way. It does give the best insight to whether a company is high quality or not. Return on equity and return on invested capital. A Jan says, "Hey Kneppy, if your stock surpasses 100%, do you always sell half for free ride?" No. I keep on holding. Sometimes I will. Sometimes, maybe not 100%, but sometimes if I'm 150, 200%, I will sell a little bit. But I no longer do this. I no longer do free rides. I used to do it a lot, but I just ride that as long as I can. And then I will take profits for sometimes, but not always. And then I just look at the chart. And then if the chart's negative, I sell. For my high quality portfolio, not even thinking about selling half. Unless the only way I would sell half is if I think the company is ridiculously overvalued, sort of like Pro Medicus right now. But I haven't done that with Pro Medicus. That's the only way I might do it. But I used to do it, but not anymore, because I want to ride the winners as long as possible. CDG3 says, "Thanks, Kneppy. I suspected as much." Thank you. Okay, so we have a stock pick there. Happy Now says, "Just sat here while eating 1 litre of ice cream." 1 litre of ice cream. Maybe it's not as bad as I'm thinking. Oh, I can see that. Yeah, it's not that big. I love ice cream. If I had to choose one food to eat, this is going to sound terrible, I would choose ice cream. One food, and if I could get all my nutrients through that one food, I would just eat ice cream. That's it. However, I would miss pizza, burgers, that sort of thing. Then he starts talking about lithium. My stupid Siri is just doing stupid things. Okay, thank you. Thank you for your very kind thoughts. Happy Now, 18. One hero in a million. What are the options you are trading? Do you track SPY in equivalent ASX ticker? I am not trading any options at all right now. I've only ever had one options, and that was Findy. And I exercised those options in January last year, almost a year ago. But I have thought about it. Options, but at this point in time, I'm not trading any options. Do you track SPY in equivalent ASX ticker? Is that an ETF? SPY? Oh, is that the S&P 500? No. So do I track S&P 500 in equivalent ASX ticker? No, I do not. What would that be, by the way? What's the S&P 500 ticker for ETF for Australia? I have actually no idea. Maybe we can do it. S&P. S&P. No, I'm going to spend too much time trying to find it. I'm pretty sure someone will know. If you do know, leave it in the comments section. Answer this particular comment. Big Boy Baby says, "Seems hard to justify margin lending when current rates are 8 to 9%. Interest is tax deductible though by Daniel Brown." Okay, so very important points here. Yes, margin lending, current rates are 8 to 9%. But if we see a significant correction in the market, say the market drops 40%, so this is me assuming the market dropped 40%, interest rates won't be where they are now. Interest rates will drop because if the market drops 40%, 50%, what would be the underlying state of the economy? It would be in an absolute mess, worse than it is now, and I have no doubt interest rates will drop a fair bit. So the current rates would be far lower than they are now, and that's probably one thing to mention. The other thing to mention is, yeah, interest is tax deductible. Yes, that's a very important point. Yeah, the interest, don't forget that. Interest rates or interest on your margin loans are tax deductible. Yes. But anyway, so two good points here from Big Boy Baby and Daniel Brown. Rick Thillian says US regulators blocking Nippon Steel due to national interest. I actually did read that the other day. Thank you, Sensei. And thank you, Rick Thelian. I'm doing great. You're welcome. Just James Dean says he wished he put 100% into CBA, don't we all? Well, not well. To be honest with you, you would have done much better if you put all your money into Bitcoin, wouldn't you? Or if you put all your money into Zip, or put all money into, what's the other one? EZZ or Bravura or Appen or all these other companies. They've done much better than CBA. CBA's only gone up 50%, and that's really unusual. And 39% ahead now. Anyway, buy new kidney. There you go. Thanks for the double response. You're welcome. Just James Dean also said, no locals would pick mangoes in the top end. 38 degrees heat all day and night. Mango sap is corrosive. Centrelink pays more in down money. Isn't socialism great? I suppose there is benefits. There is pros and cons to socialism, just like there's pros and cons to capitalism. I'd say one of the massive benefits of capitalism compared to, say, socialism or what's the other one? Communism is innovation is rewarded. And that's why if you compare the United States to Russia, why did the United States eventually win that whole Cold War? Because they, innovators in America, were rewarded. If you're an innovator in Russia, you're not rewarded. There's no point. There's no incentive to innovate. And that is one of the things, I think, the massive advantages of capitalism is innovation is incentivized. And we should always incentivize innovation. It's very important, extremely important. In socialism, I think even in socialism, don't forget, socialism is not the same as capitalism or communism. It's quite a bit different. I think even in socialist countries, maybe innovation is rewarded, maybe not as much as a capitalist society, but there's also some cons of capitalism. In fact, I don't like the political systems of capitalistic societies. I suppose that's more of a political system. I just don't like political systems. I think most of the people who go into politics are the sort of people you don't want to go into politics, the sort of people you don't want to be leading the company, yet they're the ones who tend towards those positions. Ideally, the best sort of leaders are the type of people who don't go into politics. And that's one of the biggest flaws about our political system. You could just name any politician, and that's the sort of person you don't want in politics. It's horrendous. And you might be saying, well, history's been like that. No, there's been times in history when a person has been put into charge of a country when they didn't want it, and that country has thrived. It's happened twice that I know of, maybe 3 times. Anyway, that is all I have when it comes to this particular video. If you have any questions, any thoughts, leave those in the comment section of this video. Otherwise, don't forget, I'm not a financial advisor. If you need financial advice, make sure you seek out someone who's qualified and can speak to your own financial needs. That's it for this video. Have a good day. Bye.